All right, Shane. Well, we're here having a coffee. This is a whole new experience for us, experiment, per se.
It's pretty cool.
So often, Shane and I go and have coffee. Coffee. And we talk about this kind of stuff. We thought, what if we filmed us having coffee and talking about these kind of stuff, and then put it on YouTube?
Makes a lot of sense.
That's what we're doing. And today, we're talking about Steven Spielberg, because the guy has directed so much stuff. Yeah. So we are talking about our top 5 favorite Steven Spielberg directed movies. Not written, not produced, directed.
Yeah, and also part of the reason why we're doing that is Steven Spielberg was just announced as a director for a future DC movie, which blew our minds because we just didn't think that he would do that.
He's doing a DCU movie. Now he's doing Black Hawk, which is probably the most realistic of all the DC comics.
Okay. Hey, it's okay.
Whatever. We're getting in there.
Having Steven Spielberg in DC is
Steven Spielberg is coming to DC.
Right. So that's fantastic.
So if you guys hear a lot of noise in the background, it's because we are literally outside next to what I believe is a power station and a truck yard. And I'm just waiting for the school band to start practicing next door or something.
Starbucks picks really cheap locations, so we were going to film inside, but it is super loud in there, so you won't appreciate it.
Okay, well, let's talk about our top 5. We're going to start at 5 and work our way down to 1. Shane, give me your number 5.
So I'm number 5 first. Okay, so my number 5, let me tell you, it was really hard to pick Steven Spielberg movies because I really don't have a top 5 list. I got a top 10 list, and so it was very hard. But my number 5 movie is actually Steven Spielberg's 1987 Empire of the Sun. Now, it was really tough because I had basically Empire of the Sun and Schindler's List. And Schindler's List came out in 1993. Very famous movie. And Empire of the Sun probably isn't remembered by a lot of people, although it was up for Picture of the Year. Also, it had a very young Batman.
Oh, which one?
The Batman.
The only Batman?
No, it actually is. It's not the only Batman.
It wasn't Ben Affleck.
It wasn't Ben Affleck. Do you remember who it was?
Christian Bale?
It's Christian Bale, a very young child
Christian
acting
Bale.
Christian
Hashtag
Bale.
not my Batman. Okay? Not mine.
Okay, I'm a Michael Keaton Batman.
There you go. Michael Keaton all the way.
But here's the thing. Christian Bale was amazing. It was like the most amazing child acting performance ever. And basically, it's about a World War II concentration camp or POW camp. And he's in it. His parents have both been taken away, not with him. He's lost by himself. And so Schindler's List is probably a better movie from the perspective of the Jewish experience during the Holocaust. But for me personally, I fell in love with Empire of the Sun, and that's why it's my number 5 Steven Spielberg movie.
You know what? I have a problem with Schindler's List now. As an adult, I didn't see it when it first came out. I saw it after I saw the movie Taken, and I'm just waiting for Liam Neeson to take on the entire Nazi army.
It's tough, yeah, because Liam Neeson is, he's not exactly the badass
that we know him to be.
When he first started out, he still played action roles, and he did some really interesting, weird things, weird shows. He was a pirate, I think, also in one movie. Yeah.
Okay, my number 5 is Minority Report.
Okay, Tom Cruise.
With Tom Cruise.
Okay.
I'll tell you why. I actually read the book before I watched the movie, and I really wanted to see a movie out of this. But I remember thinking to myself, if they made this movie, it would be cheesy.
Right.
Because the book is so gritty. But no, Steven Spielberg, he made a movie that sort of matched the tone of the book, had a very similar feel and story and everything, and it's one of my favorite Tom Cruise movies.
Okay, it had a really good futuristic. It had a good feel to it as a futuristic movie.
It felt like that could be the future.
Yes.
Some future movies are like, well, that's insane.
Yeah, Blade Runner. Yeah.
Like Blade Runner. Yeah. Blade Runner. Like that can never be our future. That's like Star Wars is in a galaxy far, far away, because George Lucas knew that if he said in the future, we'd be like, no,
sorry,
not gonna happen.
Yeah.
But Minority Report was it felt like an accurate version of what the future could be.
Yeah, I felt that.
There's another movie too, that was very similar to Minority Report that had Tom Cruise in it, where he played like a very similar character. I'm not saying like his profession was the same. He was like a reverse engineer or something.
Okay.
And I forgot what it was called, man. But it was also in the future, and he had to like take his eyes out or something. It's a very good movie too. I don't remember.
I don't remember that one. Yeah, that's.
I personally like Minority Report, and I watched the TV series recently, Minority Report.
Okay.
Based on the movie and the book, and it's pretty good.
Awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, my number 4.
Yeah.
Is that where we're at?
We're number 4.
My number 4.
Number 4.
Best Steven Spielberg movie of all time is.
Wait. How can it be best Steven Spielberg movie of all time and your number 4?
Number 4, best Steven Spielberg movie of all time.
Oh, I see. All right. See, you got a little comma there.
Oh, I see.
Or like number 4 and the best movie.
Commas don't always mean and. Just FYI.
Okay.
But I will say this: Jurassic Park, my number 4. Now, the Steven Spielberg movies I chose were generally groundbreaking type of movies, great movies. I could have chosen the 5 that entertained me the most. I didn't quite do that because there are some great movies that he did that I think are wonderful, like 1941, that is not on the list. But Jurassic Park actually was the first time we felt like we were getting to see dinosaurs up close. Yeah. It was a true groundbreaking
dinosaur movie.
It's the first time that we really incorporated computer graphics into a movie
like
screen,
puppeteering and stuff. Yeah,
and with the idea of recreating genetically recreating these dinosaurs,
physical puppets and computer graphics together to make a perfect movie.
Right, written by Michael Crichton, Jurassic Park, directed by Steven Spielberg. Just an amazing experience.
Okay, so number 4 is also for me Jurassic Park. So.
Oh, that was easy.
Yeah,
we got a number.
Jurassic Park is not only one of the best. Is number 4 best Spielberg movie in my opinion. I feel like it's one of the best movies of all time, and I'll tell you why. Every theater you go to, every movie, anything, movie this, movie that, you see Jurassic Park memorabilia, posters, whatever up, because everybody agrees Jurassic Park was groundbreaking, ahead of its time. And the story and the acting, everything just, it hit all the right notes.
It was. It found a way to somehow be nostalgic, but also current.
Right.
And that's really hard to do. And, nobody does it like the master, Steven Spielberg.
Ain't that the truth? Okay, number 3, Shane.
Number 3 for me.
3
okay.
For
so
Shane.
It's getting tight in here, folks. Getting tight. My number 3 favorite Steven Spielberg movie of all time is Close Encounters of the Third Kind from 1977.
Really?
Close Encounters of the Third Kind was an amazing movie when it was made. Let me tell you something, guys. Of movie making history, Close Encounters is one of those movies that it just blew everybody's minds when it came out of the water. And that's what Steven Spielberg did. When he set himself up, I mean, you notice we're not talking about E.T. here. We're not talking about, at least I'm not talking about Raiders of the Lost Ark. I'm talking about movies that were groundbreaking. And
I like that little dig there.
Close Encounters of the Third Kind needed to happen. And it set the stage for so many movies that come in the future where people said, you know what, we can really make movies like this. And, it's a great movie.
So I guess...
I watch it all the time.
I guess now that you've said all that, me saying my number 3 was Raiders of the Lost Ark.
I didn't know that was going to be his number 3.
Yeah. That's
great movie. I would put Raiders in my top 5 most enjoyable Steven Spielberg movies.
Okay.
So there's nothing wrong with that pick. But
two
George
of
Lucas,
the movies on my top 5 are Indiana Jones movies.
The problem is that George Lucas was the creator. And he brought his friend in to do this movie with him.
Right.
And so I feel like Steven Spielberg is a little tainted by George Lucas as the creator of it, and not just a director.
I don't see it that way. I see 2 directors at their prime, storytellers at their prime, teaming up to make the perfect franchise.
I agree, but I don't think it wasn't originally
George Lucas is at his prime. I mean, he lost his mind a little bit toward the turn of the century, but at that time,
he was in his prime.
He was at his absolute prime, and I believe Spielberg was also at his prime.
Yes,
or at least approaching his prime.
He was definitely a movie making.
He was about to peak
master.
And so you have these 2, legends already at their prime, best the best, to create a franchise, around characters and actors that people also thought were legends.
Yeah, they were beautiful, amazing movies. It was a throwback to the 1950s serial movies that came out, the chapter movies. It was fantastic. Harrison Ford was amazing. So, not a bad choice. From the director's seat, I just feel like he's done better.
And how many movies, my question, how many movies now are based on the Indiana Jones premise?
Most movies are based on the Spielberg premise.
Right, okay.
Of how movies are made. Starting back with what we'll find out soon will be my number one.
Well, Spielberg actually Spielberg based his writing on the Power of Five when it came to ensemble movies. It was all about that Wizard of Oz 5 cast members.
Makes sense.
So with Star Wars, all the best movies out there that had ensemble cast are based on the 5 basic characters you get when you watch or read or whatever it is, Wizard of Oz from the 50s.
That's cool. Wizard of Oz is great.
What's your number 2?
My number 2. So we did number 3. So number 2 would have to be for me. Number 2 is going to be Saving Private Ryan. I feel like Saving Private Ryan is probably the most realistic war movie ever made. And I got to be honest with you, when the first 7 minutes of that movie, when they actually do the landing at the beginning of World War II, the beach landings in Normandy, it is chilling to the bone how realistic that is for war. I mean, I don't think people had a real appreciation for what it was like for bodies to be decimated the way it was. And Steven Spielberg,
bodies hit the floor.
Steven Spielberg did it amazing. I mean, it was an amazing job. It's one of those types of movies that will be remembered forever, the way it was laid out. And now you get movies like that all the time. Band of Brothers came out with stuff, but his was the real first, reality. There's only so many bullets in the gun kind of thing. So that's my number 2.
That is a really good number 2.
Thank you.
I'm gonna have to cheapen this list a little bit. I'm sorry, guys. I appreciate those movies, I do, but I'm all about the popcorn flick, the entertainment value. A movie's number 1 goal, at the end of the day, its number 1 goal, it should be its number 1 goal. I mean, some movies aren't that case, but its number 1 goal should be, number 1, to entertain. And from there, you can do other stuff. You can educate. You can scare. You can, make them feel love or passion. You can make them feel whatever emotion you're looking for. But number 1, first and foremost, that movie's got to entertain, which is why all the Fast and Furious movies have made $1 trillion and continue to make $1 trillion when the physics don't make sense, the writing doesn't make sense, the characters are ridiculous, they're over the top. It's like watching, if World Wrestling Federation had $1 billion budget to make a movie, that's every Fast and Furious movie, but it sells gangbusters because people are going there to turn their brain off and be entertained, right?
Okay.
So on that note.
Oh, so he's really set you guys up here. Let's go.
On that note.
Okay, go ahead.
My number 2, in my opinion.
Yeah.
The best Indiana Jones movie ever.
Kingdom Skulls. Go ahead.
Kingdom Skulls. No, it was not Kingdom Skulls. No, the one with Sean Connery.
Okay, number 3.
Yes.
Really?
The Last Crusade, man.
Okay, The Last Crusade. Well, actually, it was a really good Indiana Jones flick.
I think that's one of the best. I think that's the best Indiana Jones movie.
Okay. I like the first one.
I mean, it's hard to say which one's best because the first one sets it all up.
Yeah.
But by the time you get to 3, first of all, Harrison Ford he's so comfortable with this role. He's in it. He knows how to play Indiana Jones. He knows what people like and dislike. And the people that are in the movie with him know it and know how to act and know how to make space for him and everything. So it's perfect. It's a good movie.
It's a lot of fun. And
Sean Connery. Sean Connery.
It's Sean Connery.
With Harrison Ford.
No, they're great together.
In a buddy cop film about archaeologists.
That movie, when it came out, everybody loved it.
Yes.
I'm glad you didn't say number 4 because the South Park guys would have something to say about that.
Well, I see. I almost said number 4 just to get more comments.
Don't do that.
I was wondering if I can go through it. I'm going to go with number 4, Bridge of Spies. I'm sorry. Bridge of Spies, Kingdom of Crystal Skull. I was going to pick the top 4 worst movies.
We should do that. We should do a top 5 worst next time.
Well, that's my number 2.
Okay.
The Last Crusade.
Yeah.
And, that moment at the end when they're picking, the chalices and all that.
Yeah.
Man, that was
cool.
That was a few guys in a room looking at cups, and somehow I was almost on pins and needles.
Yeah, no, it was a great movie.
I was worried about everybody in that room, and I was fascinated. All the emotions were hitting at the same time. It was just a few guys in a room with a bunch of cups.
Yeah.
Like, that is genius. The cinematography had to be perfect. The writing had to be perfect. The direction, the acting had to be perfect for that scene to hit as hard as it did.
Yeah, and they succeeded and they pulled it off.
With no computer graphics, no puppets.
So, yeah, from a director's point of view, he made you feel that way, so you got to say that's success. All right.
What's
so
your number one?
I think you should do your number one, and I'll save my number one for last.
My number one, even though it might not be my favorite movie, it deserves the number one spot because it was the number one first of all time blockbuster movies. And I know this is Shane's number one too.
I don't know how he picked it.
Jaws.
Definitely number one. It was the first blockbuster, folks. It was the first summer sizzler. And, if you were old enough to be around when Jaws came out, I'm not. I was a young kid when it came out. But if you went to the theaters at that time, you walked away thinking that's the greatest thing that's ever played in a movie theater.
Yeah.
And it was the hardest movie ever made. If you watch documentary, Steven Spielberg will tell you it was the most miserable time he ever spent making a movie, trying to get that shark to work.
So aside from the direction, the acting, the writing, and the overall idea of it, the concept about getting a mechanic, first of all, shooting on water, you're limited to when you can shoot,
right?
Schedules, weather, to,
boats in the background,
what time of the day,
right?
And where the tide's at, and then you also have to somehow involve a mechanical shark,
right?
That no one's ever done before.
Never done.
Swimming mechanical shark.
It was built from scratch, right?
Yeah, built for this movie. This is not something you couldn't buy this somewhere. Like,
yeah.
And like I said, it's not my favorite movie. I don't even like this kind of movies that much. But that movie, the reason we're watching Infinity Wars in a couple days, okay, is because that movie came out.
Yeah, basically.
It's a crazy long road to get there.
Yeah.
But essentially, I mean, I'm sure somebody else would have made it. But Steven Spielberg has the honor of saying he made the very first real summer sizzling blockbuster popcorn flick of the year.
Yeah, and it was also a movie that was really made before its time. They had to create things in order to make the movie work. Different shots, different cameras, different. I mean, it's crazy.
You think Jurassic Park happens if Jaws doesn't happen?
No, of course not.
No way.
Jaws is the first step. And
you think Waterworld with Kevin Costner would have happened without Jaws?
Probably.
No way.
Well, only because Kevin Costner's crazy. So.
Oh yeah, but if without the Jaws experience that they had with making Jaws, he would have just said, "Screw it, let's make a Mad Max remix." That's really what it is.
It's true, and
it's Mad Max on water.
Yeah. And by the way, Jaws has the most memorable movie music of all time.
It does.
When you hear everybody knows that. It's universal. So greater than any other movie, probably.
I know kids, teenagers, 13 and 14-year-olds that have never seen Jaws, didn't even know it's a movie. But when you hear that noise, somehow they know that's a shark coming.
Right.
You know,
that's right.
When I go swimming with my kids in Carlsbad, we bring our nieces. One's 13 and one's 9. Mm-hmm. And I go da-na, and they know it's a shark coming.
They know it. Yeah.
They've never seen Jaws.
I have no idea.
They don't know who Steven Spielberg is.
That's pop culture right there.
That is the definition of pop culture. Right. It spanned generations to where there are 9-year-olds that know what that music means.
Amazing, right?
That's crazy. I wasn't even born yet. Yeah.
So, yeah, that was great. A lot of fun. And, I love Jaws as a story, too. So I'm glad that was your number one and my number one.
I'm glad, too, because we're running out of time. So.
Yeah, and this coffee is getting cold.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching this. If you liked this format, please let us know below. Because, in order for us to keep doing something, it's got to be something people want to watch. What's the point of setting up all this equipment and cameras and stuff just to have some coffee? Because we can just have some coffee whenever, right?
Or to have people walk by and kind of go, what the heck's
going on? People were purposely getting in the shot.
Yeah.
I really.
You like that?
So this is a multi-camera thing. It takes a whole long time to set up. So please let us know below if you like this format. If you want to continue, we'll keep doing it. Maybe not weekly, but close to. And comment, subscribe, alerts, all that good stuff.
All right. And we'll see you guys next time.
All right. Have a good one.